As by now I'm sure you are aware, as a teenager, you have the most free time you will ever have in your entire life. However, I come here to tell you that you could have more time and you could get it without breaking the fabric of the universe. Let's get into it. In the UK, you spend 8 hours a day at school. 8 hours a day, 180 days a year, for 13 years. That tallies to about 67 million seconds, or 18,700 hours. Whoa, that's a lot of time. And that makes up about a third of your day. One third is also dedicated to sleeping, unless you're either nocturnal or completely stupid. And now I think you might be able to see a problem emerging. A third of your day is spent at a place which a lot of us barely enjoy at all. We moan about going into school. We moan when we get back from school. We moan in school. It's not great. It's not very fun as well. At least, that's how you think it is. Now, there are a lot of issues at school. You've got annoying students. You've got way too strict teachers. You've got an insane workload. But for me, my biggest issue is the lack of freedom, and even more so, the lack of free time. At least that was an issue until a few months ago. Rather than viewing school as a chore or a pain, I decided that maybe it would be a good idea to see what would happen if I simply thought of school, as just something which I go into every single day and see my friends at. Now, I thought this would be rather inconsequential. However, what surprised me is that it was very useful. I went from going into school dreading the whole day to going into school and only dreading period 7 English literature. And that's interesting. This simple mindset shift can allow you to simply see the positives of school. Because there are at least 3 positives, as I see it. You get to see the sunrise in the morning, you get to see your friends every day, and you get to make sure that you don't spend your entire day on a social media like YouTube or TikTok. So, what's the change? How do you enjoy school like I do? Well, simply think about it differently. A simple mindset shift might be all that you need to start enjoying it. And that might not sound like much, but once you enjoy school, so many opportunities open up for you. You begin to revise more, you begin to socialise more, and you begin to not be depressed when you get home. It's simply enjoying school, simply that mindset shift, has so many benefits. And even though it can be difficult to implement bigger things, like actively beginning to enjoy school, just thinking about it differently is a really good first step to make sure that you will begin to see it in the different light which allows you to be more successful. The conclusion? Start with a mindset shift from school and then work it up into a behavioural change which you can then use to make you a better person. You spend the same amount of time at school as there are people in the UK. 67 million seconds. Half and half. An equal amount of time at school and an equal amount of time at home. And now you've understood how to enjoy that half of your time spent at school, I'll try to tell you how to make the most of that half of the time you spend at home. Let's go. Now, before we start, I think there is an element of why which you might want to evolve here. Why do you have to make the most of your time at home? Now, I'll quote it from a book called Zen, which I've read. This little book by Shunjibo Basubo, and I'm sorry that I butchered that name ever in Japanese. And it's a little book about teachings, about how to live your life as a better person and enjoy what you have. The last teaching is make the most of life. Because, as he says, being alive means we must make the most of the life we are entrusted with. Life is not ours to possess. It is a precious gift that we must treat as if it were placed in our care. Now, I think that says quite a lot. As I've said before, you have the most free time you'll ever have as a teenager. And because we need to make the most of life, we need to make the most of that time. And there are ways to spend it which are pretty poor. For example, there are the time-consuming apps, or, as I like to call them, your only currency killers. And that's a video which I'll link here or there, I don't know where it'll be. I've made it before, you can watch it if you want. You have to avoid them, and that might be difficult. So, let's put it easily. School will leave you tired. That's a fact. There's nothing you can do about it, unfortunately. You won't want to do anything with your time once you get back home. And that is fairly natural. So, how do we change this? Well, we will start with the exact same way we started with the school problem. A simple mindset shift. As you can see now, the importance of your mindset is massive. Because in fact, your mind and your brain are your most important tools. They can be used for anything, and in fact, they are you. So if you change your mindset, you change yourself. And if you change yourself, you can improve yourself. Equally, you can make yourself worse, which is what social medias do. So I think it's fair to say that it's better to improve yourself than to detriment yourself. What do I mean by a mindset change? Well, you have to realize that you're wasting your time. Right now, you are wasting your time, but you're wasting it pretty well. When you scroll social media, you're wasting it in the worst way possible. Now, I'll give you an example of what you might want to do. If you're completely lost and you don't know what you do want to do, put away any distractions. Take out a piece of paper and a pen and write that one thing which you've been wanting to do for the longest time. That could be recording a video. That could be going outside and playing football with your friends. It could be anything. Anything at all. Just write it down. Don't worry about what others think, because this is for you. Nobody else will see it other than yourself. And if you do want to tell someone, well, that's your choice. The point is that you could do whatever. And now, once you've written this down, you've got it in your head, you're like, oh damn, this would be cool. You then come to the hardest part. Realizing it was difficult, I know. And then trying to find something which you want to do was even harder. And I'm sorry to say that starting that thing might be even more difficult. And so I'll try help you here. The simplest way to do it. Again, as with writing it down, put away your distractions. Now usually it's your phone, but I'm recording myself on it. Put away your distraction and put the thing which you want to do in front of you. Now let's say it was drawing. I would take this pad, put it in front of me, and take a pencil and put it in front of me. I'd then remove my phone, give it to my mum, give it to my dad, give it to my brother, and just sit. Let your mind wander, but don't take any distractions. Just sit and look at the things in front of you. This will be boring. That's the idea. And now, once you've succumbed to that boredom, there will only be one thing which you want to do. Draw. So you'll pick up your pencil, you'll pick up your pad, and you will start drawing. Because the human mind hates boredom. And now, once you've done that, once you've drawn, you can step back. You can look at what you've drawn. And you can finally tell yourself that you've spent your time well. Skadoosh! Once you've done that, you realise what you can do with your time. The switch in your head, which has been stopping you from doing this, flicks, and you begin to truly immerse yourself in this. So tomorrow, when you get back from school, you're still tired, but you've seen your drawing, you want to do something with it. So you bring your chair in, you sit down, you put on some good music for the vibes, and then you pick up your pencil and draw. You have used your time effectively. And so we come to the end of this video. Put away your distractions, write down what you want to do, and write down how you want to improve your mindset. Because your mindset is your most important tool. You'll write down that thing you've been wanting to do. And then underneath it, you'll write down how you'll change your mindset for school. Or for work. Or for college. Because fundamentally, they're the same thing. And then start. You'll enjoy it. You will enjoy it. I can almost guarantee you that. And if you enjoy it, you will succeed. And if you succeed, well, who knows where that will bring you.